Do you think he'll do the Robo? Hidden Robo again?
No.
Well, let's go into this game now.
Frost.
Over here in the bottom right, we have our Terran player. He is
SK Telecom T1 Fantasy.
And in the bottom left, here sporting some sick decals.
I am Squirtle.
Did that say Coca-Cola for a moment?
It did.
Is I am sponsored by Coca-Cola? I don't think so, right?
Well, I mean, they probably are if that decal says it.
Huh.
There's like also a Home Depot sign down there. I'm like, well, that's weird. Do they even have Home Depot in Korea?
I don't know, actually, if they do or not.
Are you sure Squirtle sponsored by In-N-Out Burger? That's weird.
Pretty sure we don't have those. Yeah, look at that. Coca-Cola. I had no idea. Good for them.
They actually have got a good number of sponsors here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, here we are, waiting to see what these guys want to do. And I do have a question for you, Tasteless, that I think all the viewers are dying to know.
I'm ready.
What is your favorite type of car?
My favorite type of car, red ones.
Red ones?
Red
I
cars,
thought you would say red ones, actually.
Yeah, red cars.
I was pretty sure. I know you well enough that you would answer like that. And I knew, and in fact, I knew it would be the color red that you would say, too.
Yeah, man. Did you know that if you have a red car...
Next time I'm so sure of something like that, I'm literally going to write it down, put it in my pocket, and just hand it to you afterwards. Because I knew so much. I used to do that with my mother, because she was so unreasonable about video games. Like, when I knew she was going to say something stupid, when I'm like, well, why can't I play StarCraft? I would literally just take the piece of paper out of my pocket and hand it to her. And she's like, this doesn't mean anything. Rip up the piece of paper, and it had exactly like 2 sentences that she said to me.
That's so funny.
I'm like,
well, think about
Mom,
this.
do you ever think that maybe you're a program that I made?
Let me tell you this joke I had with my friends where I was like fairly certain that like Testy was not a real person. Like Testy was actually a computer program made by Microsoft. I'm like, well,
I get it.
He's on the internet too much, and he doesn't talk like a real person, and his punctuation's too good. So
you know,
he's probably
with Testy, there used to be, you know, with Batman where you put the bat symbol into the sky and then Batman shows up on top of the police building.
Yeah.
Testy had a bat light. If you typed anything about him on Team Liquid, he would appear within 5 minutes, defending himself like crazy. No matter what you said. You're like,
this
well,
is so funny
I think Testy might be
because I know exactly what you're talking about. Where I'm like, oh my God, there he is again. Like,
it's like, I bet you, I should go on right now on Team Liquid and just post. You know, I think that Testy was only the 3rd best foreigner in his prime.
I think he was. Only
I bet you he'd be there.
I think he was only the 2nd best random in the world.
Yeah.
And, see if he's going to be there.
You know, despite what he says, Ogogo was not the best Zerg. All right, anyways, let's get into this game a little bit.
He also did have #1 greatest hair I've ever seen.
Was it the greatest?
It was the greatest.
We got to get Wolf on this.
Wolf will agree.
All right. We'll check that out.
All right. So, yeah, we did have that, what was it, Reaper opening? What game is this? What are we talking about? who are these guys?
I'm not sure what this, I think this is League of Legends.
I think this is League of Legends.
He's going for the Reaper hero right now.
That's a champion. Make sure you get it right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All these MOBAs that are all very similar to each other, they'll have to have, it's not creeps, it's minions, okay?
Okay, sorry.
Those aren't heroes, those are champions.
Well.
And now, because we've talked about this, I'm sure I've once again raised the never-ending debate in the Twitch chat of really which MOBA is better based off whatever weird Wayne
probably
mechanism.
Already going on.
It was based off whatever weird Wayne mechanism you have going on just then.
Well, the thing is, that's actually really calmed down as people have finally figured out that Heroes of the Storm is more skilled than LoL and
yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, I want to
Dota.
just put this out here that I mean, you know, items in a MOBA, you know, are absolutely, you know, make it less skill.
It does.
Go fight about it.
You have to fight without items. You know how much harder it is to fight without your sword of +2 health?
Yeah.
It's much harder. Anyways, taking a look at this, looks like we're going to have a Widow Mine drop coming up.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
We'll see if he can kill some probes off with it. There is a Forge on the way. The thing is, he went for Robo, and he does have a couple Stalkers already. Now, the Stalkers are just going to the Watchtower. If they are like nowhere near the main when this comes, it will be like a little bit harder to defend, but with this Observer flying over, he might even see the medevac on the way.
You got the hiccups there, Artosis?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. That's rough, man.
You got to scare me, Tasteless.
Well, the drop's not coming.
You guys will never guess what Tasteless just did. It scared the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah.
What? You've got to be
How
kidding
me. How
me.
do you not see that? What?
They had cloak or
what?
They had like double cloak. I
it
don't
actually
even understand.
like went off the map. It went into somebody else's game for a little bit.
Oh my god!
How does that happen?
I don't know. And he even course adjusted here. He does see that this is going to be a drop that's already on its way.
Well, when Squirtle loses to this drop, I've got to give him a hug or something. I mean, this is pretty sad.
Oh my god! Well, Tasteless.
Boom!
GG! That is a lot of kills. That is a hell of a lot of kills.
I don't even know what to say right now. This is not something we can analyze. This is actually the universe betting itself into a pretzel against Squirtle's will.
Well, what does Squirtle do from here? He's lost so many probes. Look, 38 to 38. That's not where you want to be at right now. You've got to be ahead in workers early on in PvT. It's like actually very important because they get the mule. Your chrono boost kind of helps you to keep up with the economy. Here he doesn't have it, but he is going into Colossus tech, so maybe he can work his way back into this. Of course, not dead yet or anything.
No.
But definitely behind.
All right, here comes that medevac now. And, I mean, from here, Terran, is doing exactly what he needs to do. Fantasy just keeps expanding, keeps macroing up and upgrading, and he should be able to stop Squirtle around when Squirtle is going to try to get his third base.
We'll see when he wants to go ahead and try to grab that. He is getting a Warp Prism right now. And, you know, obviously you want to use the Warp Prism to warp in and or drop off Zealots when the Terran leaves his base to go pressure, which is definitely something Fantasy does quite often. He's kind of a harass-based Terran.
Especially on a map like this where the mains are so big, the Terran really can't do much against the Warp Prism.
Yeah, like, is he going to run this army back that's already in the middle of the map? No, it's way too far away, so he has to use units that rally out. If you catch him at the right time, it's a pretty darn powerful play.
Okay. Fantasy is at the Watchtower right now, which means if Squirtle does elect to come up here and do the Zealot warp into the main, it's going to do a lot of damage. What happened there at the bottom of the map earlier with that medevac that disappeared? I mean, that was actually really weird. That was actually not supposed to...
I think it's because the graphics of how far the observer could see were skewed a little bit because of the way that the ground terrain went down artificially. Like,
yeah.
And it's like it's just terrain you can only fly over anyways. But anyways, let's take a look at this. He is going to come in and drop off some Zealots, but two Vikings do meet this Warp Prism, so it looks like it's not going to be able to get much more.
Yeah, this is a big failed attack here.
Yeah, that didn't
I got to
work
say,
at all.
if he was going to do this, he probably should just put the Warp Prism over at the edge of the main and warp in Zealots there. I get what he was trying to do. He wanted to get right where the SCVs were, but it would have been much better off had he done it otherwise.
All right, well, at the moment, Fantasy does have a bigger group of units across the map.
Looks like Thermal Lance and Concussive Shells are almost done here. Blink just now finishing up.
+1, getting pretty close, and he's getting that Second Forge, so definitely Squirtle going for a much longer game this time. Doesn't want to actually cheese every time, which that definitely makes me happy to see, because I was getting a little bit nervous that he was just going to keep all inning and not make it out of this group. But you know what? When he sits back and plays a macro game, I think he's stronger in that situation.
Well, I feel like Squirtle's better than what we're seeing here today.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's just bad fortune that the builds he's using are not working, but I've seen Squirtle much more consistent and strong than what we're seeing here now. I'm a little bit worried for the guy, though, this time around. I mean, Fantasy does have map control. Fantasy might even just wait for this Nexus to finish and then attack in here.
Yeah, possibly.
Since his army size is just so much bigger.
Well, let's not forget, he does have medevacs. He can go ahead and drop in the main base. This army is pretty far away because it is trying to guard the third, but, ooh, that's a well-placed observer there to see where it's going.
Yeah. And he looks like he's going to go around. I think we will have that drop over here. Now he scans himself one more time, does take out that observer. Again, there's still that observer right up there.
Yeah.
So he's going to go check again.
Will he scan that one? Looks like maybe he didn't notice that it's there. This
probably
observer really important.
Multitasking in his base. I mean, the sheer number of Terran units, I think he just smothers the Protoss here.
Well, you know what? If he doesn't, right now we do have the double upgrades going for Squirtle, and that third base is going to be finishing up. So Squirtle's actually going to get himself into a very nice place if Fantasy doesn't get any damage done.
Another scan here. He does take out, again, that observer. That's what, 2 observers that have been killed off now, or 3?
Yeah, you got 2.
Oh, my God.
Oh, SCV full time.
It's SCV full time, baby. Already shaving off a few stalkers here. I think this is going to be the killing blow. I mean, sacking all of his workers.
You think he's going to just die to this?
I think so.
Wow, okay.
This many workers
you know, he does have some ghosts in there. He has a good amount of Vikings as well. You may very well be right about this.
I think the fact that there's already a supply lead with the army here.
Where is this? He needs good time warps. I think that's going to be really key in holding this off. Maybe utilize some force fields here as well. Well, that's some pretty good EMPs going off. Here we go. He does move forward. And we have the Vikings coming up to help out against these Colossus. The Colossus not really firing at the moment.
No, they're pushed way too far in the back here.
He put up some force fields, but it wasn't full at all, so forward goes this army. The probes being pulled, every Colossus being taken out, and it looks like Fantasy is just going to crush him.
Fantasy dominating here. This will be a 2-0. Today is not Squirtle's day, man. Complete domination here. You know, Fantasy started off with a small lead, and he turned it into a huge one by the end. Yeah. GG.
Very
nicely
nice.
Done.
Very nice timing there, and I love seeing the SCV pull being brought back into it because recently, just like super recently in the past like week or so, we've been seeing more Stalker Colossus, like just completely Stalker Colossus armies, kind of as a counter to the heavy Marauder, heavy Widowmine style play that a lot of Terrans have been using. So to see the SCV pull come back, which was the original counter to that style, I like it. It's
Nicely
good.
done.
Good rotation of the metagame.
Squirtle, not his day today so far, lost to 2 Terrans. We're going to go on to our third best of 3 here in this round robin of Group A after